Well, hi there. I'm Jeremiah Gibbs. I'm your Camino guide, and I have a really kind of exciting video today. And there's just been a new TV show come out on Amazon Prime Video. My understanding is the only place that it's available is on Amazon Prime Video. But the show is called Three Caminos, and it's a drama. It's a kind of what you might expect is a typical Amazon drama, but it's all filmed on the Camino, which is super exciting for those of us that are Camino nerds. So this is not like a documentary. They're not trying to tell the story of Camino. They're making a drama, but they're filmed, basically the entire thing is filmed right there on Camino de Santiago. So I just wanted to come on and tell you a little bit about the show and give you kind of my take on it, sort of a review of what I saw as an experienced pilgrim when I watched the video. And I've now seen, there's only 8 episodes. I've seen all 8 episodes twice now. I've watched it a couple times through, just kind of getting a sense for really what's on there and what you all might think about that. So I'll just jump into it. The kind of premise of the show is we've got, it starts out with just a typical pilgrimage on Camino Frances, and 5 folks come together from different countries and so on. These 5 folks come together and meet each other on the Camino, the same way that you might expect a Camino family to form. They're meeting each other on the way and in restaurants and so on. And the 5 of them end up walking together as a Camino family. And so you kind of learn a little bit about their backstory. They tell us a little bit about some things that have happened to them in the past, and you get a sense over the shows, of course, of their characters begin to develop. But then after they've completed their first Camino, they then come back. I believe it's about 5 years later, they come back and they do a second Camino together. They plan it out, of course, and so now they're on a second Camino together, and their lives have gone on a little bit further, and some new things have developed, new dramas and so on. And then after that Camino ends, you then see them come back for a third Camino, and now we're 20 years out from that first Camino. And so they've all aged quite a bit differently, or they've all aged, and so you get to see you get a sense for what has happened in their life and so on. So the great part about this, I think, just as a drama in itself, it's pretty good. I think it's compelling, and the story moves along and so on. And I think it's a good drama and just a good story as it is. But I think that for those of us who are just love Camino and love being on Camino and so on, it's just, we love being able to see these stories develop. And I think it's not a documentary, right? This is a drama, and so it doesn't develop the same way some other Camino memoirs and documentaries and things like that, because these are fictional characters. But I would just say it's not a Camino reality show. This is really just a genuine drama, and I would say it's kind of, I think I would say Hollywood quality. I mean, it's professional production quality, and that's probably the place to start as far as like what were the things that I really loved about it. The cinematography in this movie, or this series, is phenomenal. It's really, really good. It pictures the Camino the way a Hollywood producer would, and it's probably better than most other things that I've seen. I would say it's even, in some ways, the cinematography and the filming of it is even better than something like The Way, which is obviously an actual Hollywood movie. It's really phenomenal. I think the characters are interesting on their own. I think they develop well. The acting is good. The writing is good. So I think it's, in that sense, you're going to enjoy it just as a drama on its own sake. I do think my wife and I watched some other European dramas, especially on Netflix and Amazon Prime, and I do think that there's a certain European filmmaking thing that they do with the characters where it's really, really dramatic when compared with American acting and American writing and so on. I think it's sort of, we might think of it as like overacting very, very dramatic in their reactions and the dialogue and so on and so forth. But I think if you've watched very much TV that's produced in Europe, it's kind of typical, and I don't think it's distracting in any way. But it is a little bit different kind of feel, I think, than a lot of Hollywood drama. But I think the thing that we're going to love about it, the albergas and the scenes that are set on like really famous sites on the Camino are really true to those sites. The scenes that are just in kind of everyday albergas, you're going to recognize a lot of them. They're very familiar places to me, at least. I've gone on Camino Frances enough times that I saw a lot of the places and knew exactly where they were. But I will say, if you're sort of a Camino, like you're a purist and you really need this thing to be true to form or something, you may be disappointed with how they shoot it, because they're often going to have them walking up to buildings from the wrong direction. I saw one alberga where they actually walked to the alberga from the other side of where you would have if you were coming on Camino, and at one point they walk away from Cruz de Ferro and they walk the opposite direction, so there's these parts that are just not true to form. I remember that when they approach the cathedral, they actually approach it from the front, and of course we know that you approach the Camino or the cathedral from the rear when you're coming on Camino Frances. So there's some of those pieces that I think if you really need it to be historically accurate and you need them to walk exactly from east to west and so on like that, you're going to be disappointed in that. But if you're just really looking to see those Camino scenes and to see those places on Camino, it's really depicts the pilgrimage well. And for me, I got like the Camino feels, the emotion that comes along with that for me was absolutely there. It was really convincing in that sense. And I'm actually in the middle right now we're in the middle of COVID, and I'm going, I wish I could be there. So I think that part was absolutely good. I think the other part that was really good, and this is why I think most Camino pilgrims are going to really enjoy watching the show, is they really get the Camino culture right. The ways that relationship forms and the way that you value those relationships on Camino, the priority of sort of getting there and completing the pilgrimage, that's all kind of true to form. And also like the importance of certain experiences, a Cruz de Ferro or a Finisterre or something like that, like it really kind of understands those pieces, and it's clear that the people who make this really understand Camino well. So I hope that helps, and I hope that you'll check the show out on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description to be able to get there from. I'll put the American link. You may have to find it differently if you're on Amazon in some other country. But certainly want to encourage you to check that out. If you really like content about the Camino, you love learning about the Camino, I hope that you'll like and comment on this video, and then you'll subscribe to this channel so you can get more content like this, so that I know what you're looking for and what you're really hoping to see. I make gear reviews. I give some advice from my years of walking Camino, and glad to be able to provide that, and also content like this, really just commenting about Camino things. So I hope that you'll leave a comment about your favorite scene in the show. Once you've seen the show, come back here and leave another comment about what your favorite scene in the show is. And stop back often so we can talk more about Camino. Buen Camino.